Hello, this is Alfred Miller, and I'm going to teach you how to do a mail merge using Microsoft Word 2013. When doing a mail merge, you can use an existing Word document or a blank sheet of paper, whichever you choose. I'm choosing to use a pre-typed document so that time will go a little bit faster. Just so you know, a mail merge is generally used for sending out mass mailings to a group of people. On the particular letter you're looking at, the letter goes out to everybody, but what I'd like to do is address it to different people. So instead of doing copying and pasting or individually addressing each one in a challenging way, I can use what's called mail merge. A mail merge consists of a main document, a data source, which is the people's names in this case that will change on each letter. It could be other information too. And then the two documents combine into one final thing called a merged document. I'm going to walk you through the steps of doing that now. After clicking Mailings tab or ribbon, now in the Start Mail Merge group, click Start Mail Merge. From the drop-down menu, click Letters. You can also choose labels or envelopes, but in this case I'm just going to use a letter. Now that you've declared your letter or document as a mail merge document, you are now ready to link to a data source. Now you're going to need to click Select Recipients. Now we're going to add our data source to our mail merge. A data source is the information in your letter that's going to change for each individual. Thus the letter stays the same, but there's different people. There's different types of data sources you can use. You can type a new list, you can use an existing one such as an Excel file or a database. In this case, I'm going to want to click Type a New List. The new address window opens where we can add specific fields of information for our data source. I'm going to move and resize the window for more visibility so we can see the fields as well as the information as we type it in. I'm moving the window a little bit to the left so that I can size it to see more. I'm sizing the window to see more of the column headings at the top. Along the top are the headings that Microsoft Word creates. Those headings are also known as fields. That's the information that will be changing in each letter. These fields are created by Microsoft Word, but they can be customized by deleting or adding fields of your own. We're going to take care of that process now by going down to the bottom corner and clicking Customize Columns. The Customize Address List window opens where we can actually delete fields, add fields, and rearrange the order of the fields. I'm going to delete a few of the fields that we don't need now. Point and click on Address Line 2. Now point and click on Delete. Now point and click on Country or Region. Now point and click on Delete. And click Yes. Now click the next field we no longer need, Home Phone. Once again, now click Delete. Point and click on Yes. Now click Work Phone. Now click Delete. Click Email Address. Once again, click Delete. Now that we've cleaned out and deleted the fields we no longer need, I'm going to now add one new field for our data source. I'm going to name it Donations. In order to add a field, just click Add. The Add New Field dialog box opens. Now you just type the name of the field. In this case, type Donation. When you're done creating all your fields, go ahead and click OK. After clicking OK, you will be brought back to the new address list box that includes all of your customized fields at the top. Now it's time to complete the information for each individual recipient. Basically speaking, you're blinking in the first box, and in this case it's underneath the word Title. Just type in the title for the first person, press Tab, you'll be in the first name column, type their first name, Tab, their last name. Continue pressing Tab to get through this particular record. Press Tab at the end of that first record and it automatically creates a new second record. Continue doing this until you complete the 4 records. At the very last field of the 4th record, do not press Tab, just click in a different field somewhere. of your data. Sometimes if you press tab, you're going to get an extra blank record and you'll have to delete it later. Once you're done completing everything, look around and make sure everything is spelled correctly. If anything needs changes, just click in it and make the changes and click in a different field after that. When you're finally said and done, you're going to go down and click OK. After clicking OK, you're going to need to save this new data source. Microsoft Word automatically wants to put the data source into a default folder called /documents/my-data-sources, which in other words is a folder inside of the Documents folder on your main hard drive. If you don't want to store it there, you need to navigate to the proper location, such as a flash drive or some other folder. Also be sure to name it. When naming your data source, it's always a very good idea to add the name data at the end of it. So for example, I'm going to name this one something similar to donation, thank you letter, data at the end of it, or something in that nature, so that it matches the name of the letter in a way that says data at the end, to make sure that I know it's the data source that connects to it. This is very important. When you're done naming it and choosing the proper location, you're going to want to go down and click Save. Now you're ready to start bringing in the various fields from your data source. In order to do this, what I did in my letter is I put in the wording for the type of field that I kind of want to bring in. You'll notice that I typed the word address, and then I wrote the word greeting, and then later on in the body of the letter I wrote the word donation. I did this in order to remind myself of the various fields that I want to bring in from my data source. First, I'm going to want to bring in, basically speaking, an address field. Microsoft Office 2013 has now an address block field, which makes it much easier to do. In order to do this, I'm first going to erase the word address. Make sure that you've erased the word address and that your blinky marker is where you want to put in the field. Word will bring in a field called address block when we tell it to, and it's going to include things like first name, last name, the address, city, states, etc., all into one field. It's really magical now. From the Mailings ribbon in the right-hand Insert Fields group, click Address Block. The Insert Address Block dialog box opens up where you can choose the recipient's name in a particular format on the left, as well as include a company name if it's separate, like a separate field or something, insert a postal address, and other options. I'm just going to leave the default option in this case where it says Mr. Joshua Randall Jr. You'll also notice on the right it has a preview with my actual data from my data source. All I'm going to need to do next is go down and click OK. You'll now recognize address block and some funny coding in your document. This signifies where a field is. There's actually data that will be contained here as we progress further along. We're now going to erase the word greeting that I put in so that we can actually replace it with a field. After deleting the word greeting, we're now ready to bring in the field. So go up to Mailings, write in Insert Merge Fields, and click Greeting Line. The Greeting Line dialog box opens where you can choose a few different options. If you look at the greeting line format, let's click where it says Mr. Randall to see some of the other formats that can be used. After clicking the drop-down and looking at the various options, go ahead and choose the first one, Mr. Randall. You'll also notice a preview with your data slightly below. Now click OK. Now I'm going to highlight and remove the word donation in the body paragraph to now add in a field instead. Now click Mailings, write in Insert Fields group. Click Insert Merge Field drop-down arrow. That's actually two buttons there. If you click the arrow, you can choose one of your individual fields. If you click what looks like the little picture, you're actually going to get a dialog box. They both serve the same purpose, but some people like the dialog box, others like just the quick choice out of a drop-down list. I kind of like the drop-down list. That's why I'm asking you to choose the drop-down arrow. Click the donation field from the menu. Now that you've added all your fields into the main document, it's a good idea to preview your results in order to see what it actually looks like with your data and look for any potential mistakes. In order to do that, you're going to go to Mailings and click Preview Results. After previewing your results, I like to actually highlight my merge fields. It helps me remember which areas of my letter are actually being fed in from the data source. It also helps with troubleshooting any mistakes. So I'm going to slide over to highlight merge fields. If you do this, it has really no impact on how the letter prints. So don't worry about doing it if you like the look. If you don't, just simply click it again to turn it off. So I'm going to slide over and click highlight merge fields. Now you're able to preview your results as well as see them in a highlighted way so that you can focus on what's coming from the data source and what is actually just typed in simply into the letter. Also, if you go up to the preview results group in the ribbon, we can start to look at the other recipients. So let's click the next record arrow now. We are now looking at the second record. Click the next record arrow to see the third record. We're now looking at the third record. Let's go ahead and click the next record arrow to see the fourth record. Now that you've previewed all the records, it's usually a good idea to return to your first record. So simply click the first record arrow button. Now click the preview results button to return back to it looking like fields. Now that you've had a chance to preview your data in the letter, let's go ahead and actually merge it to the third and final document by going to the Mailings ribbon, Finish Group, and click Finish and Merge. There's three main options for the final merging of this document into its own item. One is to edit individual documents, one is to print them on pieces of paper, and the other is to send email messages. It's hard to send email messages unless Microsoft Outlook is configured on your system for sending outgoing mail. In our case, we're going to click Edit Individual Documents. The Merge to New Document dialog box opens with three choices: to merge all records, just the current record, or a certain number of records starting from a certain record to another record. Make sure the All option is chosen. If not, click it. Click OK. After clicking Finish and Merge and Edit Individual Documents, you end up getting, in this case, since we have a one-page letter, one page with each individual recipient on its own page. If you scroll down, there's a page for each recipient, in which this is a normal Word document. This is not formatted special or anything, it's just the end result. This, for many people, is more or less the finished process in which they might print this, or they save it for future use, whatever they need to do. Many people consider this the finished process, but I'm going to scroll in just a minute to show you the records, and after we close it, you'll see what we do next if in case we have to edit things and make changes. Each page represents one of your recipients. If you scroll down, you can see all the letters for each recipient. I'm going to scroll now. After scrolling and viewing all your records, you can decide what you want to do with this particular file. This particular file is a combination of your data source and main document. Oftentimes people don't save it. When I now go to File Close, I'm going to be asked if I want to save it or not. As I mentioned, it's sometimes a tough choice to know what to do when you get this third and final merged item. I'm going to go ahead and click Don't Save because I know that I can always remerge it very quickly and easily if I need to. Now that you've closed the finally merged document called Letters 1 without saving it, I just want to bring you back to the main document so that I can show you a couple of quick techniques to troubleshoot if you have errors in your data source that you want to fix or edit, or there might be a change you need to do in the letter. So please feel free to go up to Mailings. In the Start Mail Merge group, click Edit Recipient List. In the Mail Merge Recipients dialog box, you can see all the records in your data source. You're unable to edit in this window. There's a couple of extra steps. To make changes to your actual data in the data source, you need to click the name of your data source near the lower left and then click Edit. The Edit Data Source window opens where you could click in any of the pieces of data to make any type of editing change that you need to. You may need to scroll to the right to see more of your fields and more of your data. In this case, I'm going to start scrolling to the right. I scrolled to the right so that I can make a change in the address. I decided that the pet store at 8686 Mission is actually 8687 Mission, so I'm going to click on the address and then make the change. Click again in the address field to try to get a blinking marker to make your editing change. Simply backspace the 6 out after having a blinking marker and type a 7 to make the new address 8687 Mission Boulevard. After making any change, it's usually a good idea to click in a different record. It automatically sort of accepts your change, but you still have to save it before you're done. Make sure you've made all the changes in your data source and then click OK. A dialog box opens asking if you want to save your changes or not. After making any changes in your data source, you'll always be asked this question. You should know the answer if you've made changes or not, whether to say yes or no. Since we made changes that we would like to keep, we're going to click yes. That is the process you'll always need to do if you need to make a change to your data source. You go to Edit Recipient List, and then click the name of the data source, click Edit, make your changes, then click OK, and save those changes. You will need to repeat this anytime you find mistakes in your data source. Now that we're done with the data source and we've made our changes, click OK at the bottom. After clicking OK, you return to your main document. In the main document, you can make changes to your letter in case you found mistakes or you just simply want to add on. In this case, I'm going to add another sentence to the end of the little paragraph, so I'm going to click at the end of the paragraph now. I'm going to type the new sentence, call us anytime, and then I'm going to go up and click Save to save my changes. After making all the appropriate changes to your data source as well as to the main document, the letter itself, and saving changes to both of those, we're ready to kind of see the final finished project. So we're going to click Mailings, and then we're going to click Finish and Merge. Like before, we're going to click Edit Individual Documents. The Merge to New window opens, and we get choices of All Records or Selective Records or the current record. Leave the choice on All Records. Click OK. The Letters to Word window opens. This is now once again a finally merged document, which should now include the changes we made in the data source as well as in the letter. I'm going to start to scroll the letter to view the changes, such as the added sentence in the first paragraph and the change of the address in the final record, the fourth record. I'm starting to scroll down. I'm scrolling a bit more. When you're done viewing this finished merged document and you've scrolled most of the records to look for errors and those types of things, you of course have the options to print it if that's your goal, save it if you need to in case you need it for the future. Many people don't save it because they can easily just open the main document. It's already connected with the data source and go to Finish and Merge and get to this document again in a very short period of time. So often people generally only save it when they know that they're going to maybe take it somewhere like on a flash drive and need to print it, that kind of thing. So I'm actually going to go up to File and I'm going to choose Close to close it out. Now I'm going to click Close. A Microsoft Word dialog box appears asking if I want to save changes. Most people don't save changes here, but it's up to you. Since we don't really need to save our changes, click Don't Save. You are now returned to your main document. I like to leave the highlight merge fields on as well as the fields themselves showing, not previewing my results, so that I remind myself that this is a main document. This document is very important to save whenever you decide to close it. And that's all there is to doing your basic mail merge. I hope you have success in doing it. Thank you.